Yes, hello everyone, welcome to our next Femitech video tutorial. Now for today's episode I will be actually comparing the BLU Studio 7.02 with the BLU Studio X Plus cell phone. So I'm gonna compare these two beautiful cell phone full of features. First I'm gonna open both box. So this is the BLU 7.0. That is the phone. And this is the BLU Studio X Plus. Alright, so remove both phone from the box. Remove this front paper here. Of course, gonna turn around the box so we can actually see the specs. And this is what I love about BLU. From you take out the box, of course you can see all the specs. So of course this is both phone. So in this, and of course this is the Studio 7.0 and this is the Studio X Plus. First I'm gonna start out with the screen in terms of the display size. The Studio 7.0 it is 7" in terms of display screen, and the Studio X Plus is 5.55 inches. In terms of color, of course this phone comes in multicolors. As for the Studio X, these are different colors that comes with it. For the Studio, these are the different colors. This is for the 7.0. So of course this phone comes in different colors, but my preferred color, of course, this is a black one and a kind of brown grayish at the front there. And as for the X Plus, it is straight black. Now in terms of quality, the texture of the back of this one, it is not completely smooth. You can feel it. Of course you can get some amount of grip. What as for the Studio X, it is a bit more smooth. The BLU logo is at the base for the 7.0 and it's actually in the about 3/4 way up the top there for the Studio X. Both phones of course are very camera, just that there is no flash for the 7.0, but of course there is a flash for the Studio X. In terms of picture quality, as for the Studio X Plus, it is 8 megapixels, but for the Studio 7 it is 7, not 7, it is 5 megapixels. Right, so 5 megapixels. There's a difference of 3 and no flash on it. So right away you can see that the Studio X is much better in terms of picture and of course video quality. Speaker, there is no speaker at the back for the Studio 7.0, but of course there's a speaker for the Studio X Plus. In terms of charging port, on both charging port and headphone port actually at the top there, just that for the Studio 7.0 you actually find the earphone port to the right and you find it to the left and the Studio X Plus. So I'm gonna pour both phones and see how fast they're coming up. As much as possible I try to actually pour both at the same time. So the Studio X seems to come up much faster. beautiful display screen. Wow. So the 7.0 boot up faster than the Studio X Plus, as you can see. Now let me start out with some internal specs. Now both phones are up. So both phones, in terms of what is on this first screen, pretty much the same, but of course on the Studio 7.0 you will find more features because it is much larger in terms of size. So that's why it will actually hold more apps on the main page. As we're this page now comparing the first set of apps, as you can see, Amazon Kindle Fire, the Amazon store right there. You have Blue Help Calculator at the top there, and you actually have pretty much the same on the top for the Studio X Plus. Google, Gmail, Google Drive, Chrome, all those apps are default. All of those apps are default. Now let's look at some apps now. Not apps, let's look at some features. Now, in terms of processor, both phones are running quad-core processor running at 1.3 GHz, so pretty much the same in terms of processor. Internal memory, both phones comes with 8 gigs of internal memory. Out of the box you get 8 gigs in terms of storage. As for RAM, both also comes with 1 gig, so the speeds very much the same. And of course both phones use up to 64 gigs in terms of micro SD card. Right, so 64 gig up to 64 gig. Now let's look at the video quality. As for the Studio X, 1080p, so actually record video at 1080p and also show your movies at the 1080p in terms of resolution. As for the Studio X, you're saying that it is 7 HD display quality. As for the Android operating system, it is Lollipop upgradable for the 7.0 there, but the Studio X actually comes with the Lollipop OS itself, the V5.0 or 5.0. Let's look at network now. Both of them, they are 4G compatible, of course. HSPA plus for both of them, so pretty much the same in terms of network quality, right? So at least they're the same in that department. So of course both phones, you have advantage and you have disadvantage. As for the 7.0, it only use one SIM. Yes, you only use one SIM, but for the Studio X Plus, dual SIM capability. I love both phones. I can tell you that I love both phones. Yes, they have the advantages and disadvantages, because nothing in life you're gonna love 100% in terms of everything. It's actually perfect. Of course they are Wi-Fi compatible, so of course you can connect to your home network, or if you're at the library at school, you can connect to your network. So that should do it in terms of comparing these two BLU Studio phone. So once again guys, please remember to click on the subscription button if you're new to my channel. So once again, thanks for viewing. Femitech is out of here.